Hey guys, F126 here, and welcome to highlights of Season 4, Round 10 of the F1 League, and we're here for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, one of my favourite tracks. So, hopefully we can have a good race here, and obviously, as mentioned in the last video, which was Canada, the reasons for there being no Austria and Baku highlights are due to my wheel being crap, and the fact that I was on holiday during when Austria was on. But now we're here in Silverstone. All issues have been fixed, apart from the fact there is no game sound this week because I was in a party with the Silent Moral and Casey Legend during the race. So you would hear me talking during the race, which is obviously not what you want to hear. You want to hear me talking after the race. So what we're going to get is some music in the background, which you can enjoy. I'll put it quite quietly so it's not overriding me talking, but as you can see, we're on our qualifying lap now, and it's been quite solid so far. No real mistakes as we now head down the old pit straight through Woodcote towards Copse, which is a very fun corner on this game. 7th gear, flinging the car in, running quite wide on the curves, but not track extending, which is good to see as we now head through the Maggotts and Beckett section. Flat through the first part in qualifying as we now head down towards Chapel now. Taking that quite nicely, getting on the power nice and early, and we've taken that reasonably well, I must say, as we now head up the hanger straight towards Stowe. Once again, another very rewarding corner on this game, as we now put it into 4th, but immediately up to 5th, clipping the apex very nicely there, and running wide on the exit curve as we now come down towards the Vale chicane, clipping that apex nicely. Our delta goes red briefly, but we're going to get on the power nice and early on the exit, nailing that, and look how much time we've gained through the exit, running a bit wide through the final corner as we set a 1 minute 30.6, which is a pretty good lap, and we shall see that actually gets us 3rd on the grid, behind HCR Cupid, who obviously got pole, the Silent Mole, who was in 2nd, and we got 3rd for our first qualifying point of the season, which is really lovely, isn't it? So, as you can see, CK the Flying Scot in 4th, Casey Legend 5th, Gesson Zinker 6th, Sam in 7th, Lexbox 1 8th, Jack Spar in 9th, and Terra Nova in 10th. So, it's setting up for a very interesting race, with us starting on the 2nd row of the grid, and as you can see, it's raining. What lovely, lovely wet weather we have here. So, I'm really glad that I've done absolutely no practice in the wet, and I'm going to lose multiple well, it won't be, it'll be like 8/10 a lap maybe to traction users. But let's just change our setup, put the wings up. But apparently, even though park permit is on, I could change my whole setup. But obviously, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to change the wings, which is what you can do normally. So we're going to up the wings to that 8-7 from 7-6 or something. But now the formation lap, I'm going to show it this week just to show how I adapt to the conditions on the formation lap, because as I said, I haven't done any wet practice, and this is actually the first wet league race that I've done on this game, so this should not be fun and very interesting for you guys to watch, to see how I handle the conditions. As you can see, just feathering the throttle even through turn 2, which is not really a corner in the dry, it's just completely flat. But yeah, coming through turn 3 and 4 now, as you can see, HCR Cupid does not know where the track is, as he's trying to visit Scotland on the exit of Farm there. But yep, coming towards the end of the formation lap, no dramas this week. I didn't spin out, which would be very embarrassing. As you can see now, a couple of people have been naughty and have crashed into each other, but I have not been crashed into or crashed into anyone, so we managed to complete the formation lap and get slightly acclimatised to the conditions, but it's not really going to make a difference because you don't really learn too much on the formation lap. But now we have the lights. There's 5 lights here for the British Grand Prix, and it's lights out, and away we go. The wheel spin is absolutely ridiculous. HCR Cupid's got a good start, but we've got CK the Flying Scot on the inside. We have to leave him room there. We've given him too much room. We've visited Africa now, and we've lost the back end there hugely. We managed to save it, but we're now down into P8, which is disastrous. We're going to try and go around outside of Sam into Village, but we've gone too deep, and we're going to lose a position to Jack Spar as well. So we're now down into P9 after starting P3, possibly one of the worst starts you have ever seen, apart from maybe my start in AOR Spain last season. But as you can see, we've now got LMR Hybrid in front of us, who also managed to out-traction us on the exit of Farm, no, not Farm, something through the loop. I'm not sure what the corners are, sorry. But yeah, we're now down to P10, which is absolutely awful, to be honest. But we're now going to try and use our experience that we have in league racing, which some of these people in front of us won't have, to try and get back past them and up into a more respectable position as we now head through Cops now, and Hybrid run wide, and we take that position nicely up into P9, which is obviously still pretty awful, but it's better than P10, isn't it? So, skipping through to turn 2 on lap 2, we have not made any more progress. Hybrid is still behind us, but not really in the position to make a move. As I say that, Marusha appears up our inside there, but he's gone way too deep. Clearly just missed his braking point there, and we were lucky that we saw him coming, didn't turn in, and prevented a massive explosion from occurring as we lose the back end there and get a really legit warning there because we clearly gained so much time. Anyway, lap 3, we've got Sam and Jack Sparr who are having some worldy battling by the looks of it, side by side through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, and Jack Sparr's actually won that battle, but now Sam's in the slipstream, heading down the hangar straight, setting a green sector 2 for ourselves, and Sam's now heading back up the inside of Jack Sparr into Stowe, and he's got that move done, so quite a good move from there, from Sam to get himself back up into 7th, and now we're looking on the back of Jack Sparr as we head into the Vale chicane. Jack Sparr maybe looking up the inside of Sam there, and he takes a sort of weird line as Lexbox One's had a spin there, which is going to allow us to retake that position. And we're, well, not retake, but, well, I guess technically do retake because we were in 3rd, but now up into 8th as we set our personal best, which is probably extremely slow because we are not very good at this game, apparently, as you shall see throughout the race. Anyway, now coming through turn 2, and Jack Sparr's got a good run on Sam, but he's missed his braking point there, and he's smashed into the back of Sam there, hitting Sam wide, and Sam's quite lucky there that he wasn't completely smashed off, but there's another free position as Jack Sparr has blown up. And we're now up into P7 as we've got a good exit, even though the rear end decided that it wanted to step out a little bit through that left-hander, but we're on the back of Sam now, ducking towards the inside as we head down the Wellington Straight, but we appear to have better straight line speed than him as we're now going to chuck it up the inside into Brooklands, and we get that move done, slowing the car down nicely there as we head around the outside of Luffield. Now, will we be able to hold this? Sam's reappeared on the inside, but we should have better exit speed around taking the wide line, but no, that's not the case. Sam has actually managed to get the position back, but there's a yellow flag because the Silent Mole has crashed into the wall and is out of the race, as you can see his car there. I think he touched a white line in Rich Mix, and that just blew up his car. Anyway, still side by side with Sam through Cops, but no, Sam is able to hold that one around the outside, and we then have to back out, and we have another virtual safety car now. So yeah, showing some good respectful racing between Sam and myself. Obviously, I have a huge amount of respect for him as a league racer, so I can trust him to be very clean, so we're able to have some battles, and I'm going to go side by side with him through corners that I wouldn't necessarily go side by side with other drivers. But now coming towards the end of the virtual safety car now, as we resume racing, Sam appears to have gained a little bit on us, but that might be because we had backed out just before the virtual safety car came out. But now, coming down towards turn 1 now, once again, we've got Hybrid still sitting in behind us. So maybe if there's a bit of contact between myself and Sam, he can pick up the pieces and move himself up into 5th place. It's a good debut race from him as we now head through Village. And we're going to try and take a switchback line, but we can't really because Hybrid's there. We don't want to be causing any collisions, which would be disastrous for ourselves. But we're now looking up the inside of Sam through the loop there, but Sam manages to hold it with better speed on the outside line. Now we do have Hybrid looking up our inside, so this is disastrous because we can't pull out of the slipstream because we will smash up Hybrid, but we're going to go for the dive bomb anyway, even though we lifted on the straight, and we actually have squeezed Sam out this time. He couldn't hold it around the outside, and we have finally got that position, and hopefully this time it's for keeps and we can get on with this and go after Casey Lotions for 4th place. But lap 7 now, heading through Maggots and Beckett's. We appear to have got a little bit of a gap, but we've gone too deep there. We've touched the curb. We've lost the back end there. We've just managed to save it with a huge amount of opposite lock. That is going to lose us a lot of time to Sam there, as you can see. He's now right on the back of us again, which means as we get another moment of wheel spin on the exit of Chapel, he's going to have a better exit down the hangar straight now. He's going to look to the inside as we head towards Stowe. Looking up the inside now, Sam, and we've given him a bit too much space, and he's parked his car very cleverly there on the racing line to prevent us getting any sort of round the outside move. So good driving from Sam there, and he has managed to regain that 5th position as he runs very deep into the Vale chicane there. Hopefully we can get the better exits and maybe have a look down into turn 1. As you can see now, getting on the power, Sam runs a bit wide there, but we're obviously not going to be close enough to go for a move into turn 1. It'd be pretty suicidal, to be honest, and we brake quite early there, as you can see. Sam gains a lot of time, but he's gone wide actually, so maybe this will give us an opportunity down into Village, but no opportunities there, as we can get the switchback possibly into the next corner, but Once again, he's taken a pretty good line through there, and there's not going to be any chance for us to get that move done. But we've got a much better exit than him, despite the fact that he didn't appear to take too much of a compromise line. And there we go, there goes his back end on the exit of the loop, and we're going to be up into P5 unless he can outbrake us down the inside into Brooklands, which I don't think he can. We've braked very late and slid out a bit wide. Sam takes a quick look up the inside, but he knows there's nothing doing there as we close that door. And we have got back up into P5 once again, and hopefully we don't make any more mistakes and we can finally keep this position. But as we can see now, we've lost the back end. We've lost it all over the white lines there because we put it up into Rich, and immediately, as I say that, when we get the move done, we give the place straight back to him as we get very close to going up the backside of him through Cops, as we've got another virtual safety car, which means it's going to pretty much come out at exactly the same time on the track for us as the last one did. So once again, as we come to the end of the virtual safety car, at the end of the lap, nothing happened. I decided not to pit because the virtual safety car was ending at the time, so there's obviously no advantage to be gained there. As we now head through the final corner, we're not particularly close to Sam at the moment, but hybrids drop back a little bit, so maybe we could get a bit of an advantage here as ahead of hybrid, which will allow us to try something a bit more audacious than usual on Sam as we head down towards Village once again. Sam's run a bit wide there. Is this going to allow us to finally get a good switchback off the exit of this corner? Aintree, finally I remembered the name. We haven't got a great exit, a bit of oversteer there and some more, so I don't think we're really going to be close enough as we head down the Wellington Straight towards Brooklands. In the slipstream though, we appear to have better straight line speed, so he could be running higher wings as we head up the inside. A huge dive bomb there, but we still managed to make the apex. Sam's still on the outside though, so we're going to go side by side through Luffield once again. He manages to get a squirt of power up the inside and he parks it nicely. We turn in a bit too much and hit his rear wheel, which kills our momentum, and Sam once again getting that position back. And this is hugely frustrating for myself, even though this is a great battle with Sam. It's losing me heaps of time as I think that I'm possibly faster, and if I didn't keep bottling it when I managed to get past him, I'd be able to be well up the road now. But once again, through Cops, no way through. Sam a bit slower than us through there, but that's not really an overtaking spot unless you're already side by side as we now head through the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel sequence. He's messed it up a little bit and he's going to have a poor run off Chapel, so is this going to allow me a chance round the outside into Stowe as we put it up into Rich now, down the hanger straight, heading up round the outside. We're still side by side as we head towards Stowe. I've now claimed the racing line, so surely I can outbrake him here round the outside, but no, Sam's still there on the inside. Surely I can't go round the outside. Yes, I can, round the outside of Stowe, but he's still alongside, so it's not GG yet, as he's still trying to hang it around the outside. And there's contact. We've lost the back end there, but we somehow managed to save it. And that was definitely not Sam's fault, to be honest. I mean, it could have turned in a bit more from myself. I just understeered too deep into the corner whilst trying to continue the battle. So luckily that didn't involve in me being completely spun, and I managed to continue on my way, still in 6th place with all pieces of my car still attached. So that's fantastic as we now head down through the new section once again. Sam taking a poor line through Village, which is going to compromise him through Aintree. We've got what should be a fantastic exit. As you can see, we've closed up quite a lot there. Is this going to allow us to chance once again into Brooklands so we can finally get this move done on Sam? We're in the slipstream once again, but this time he appears to be pulling away from us. Are we going to go for the dive? Yes, we are. The mighty dive up the inside. Sam's going to surely hold that one. I don't think we can do anything about that. We've squeezed him out a bit wide there, but that surely should not be any opportunity for us, as he was just too far ahead, so he can squirt the power around the outside. But now heading down the old pit straight once again, side by side towards Cops. We're going to go side by side through Cops once again. This time we appear to be ahead, so can we get the move done? We've got ahead at the moment, but we can't shut him off because he's still there on the outside. We're going to leave him the space, and I don't think we're going to risk going side by side through Maggots and Beckett's. As you can see, we apply the brakes a bit more than normal and allow Sam to have that position here. So we'll have to reset again and think about another place where we could try this move. Maybe into Stowe again. We've got a good exit out of Chapel there, and this is better than it was last lap. So can we get it done into Stowe? We need to be more confident on the brakes than we were last lap. We know we can be later. We are later. This time we go down to 3rd to give us more turning, and finally we actually pull it off around the outside of Stowe there, and we've got the move done. He's no longer alongside. Will he try to dive into the Vale chicane? We're quite late on the brakes there, as you can see, sliding wide and missing our apex, but Sam has not been given any opportunities there, and we're up into P5 now, and hopefully finally we can get rid of him and get on with our race. But as you can see, we are a long way behind Casey Legend there, as we now skip on to lap number 13 as we head through Stowe. As you can see, we've dropped Sam quite a bit as we're now entering the pit. I haven't done any pit practice in the wet either, so I suspect this is going to be a very slow one as we head in. Slowing it down there, yeah, way too cautious, but it's better than speeding because this is a very long pit lane and you do not want to be serving any drive-throughs on this track. As you can see, checking the race director, HCR Cupid is obviously winning, with CK the Flying Scot having a good debut in the Ferrari, and he is in second as we now head down the pit lane once again towards the Haas pit stop. As mentioned earlier, a painfully slow pit lane, the longest one in terms of time and one of the slowest in terms of speeds, is 37 miles an hour, along with Monaco and Singapore I think are also those slow speeds, and Australia as well actually. But yeah, we've managed to get a good pit stop from the Haas boys, and if we can not blow up on the pit exit, which is very possible on this track, we're going to be quite cautious on the throttle there. I managed to avoid spinning into the wall. So P7 for the moment, but obviously Hybrid and Sam still have to pit, and we should come out in front of both of them unless we do some major bottling, which is possible because, as mentioned earlier, I'm not particularly good at this game apparently. And I'm just getting these cars up to temperature as we head through the loop now and down the Wellington Straight. So skipping later on onto the lap as we head through Maggots and Beckett. We've been way too aggressive there on the downshift and we've lost it on the curb, and we've got an interesting penalty there because we clearly gained so much time from that corner cut, didn't we? As well as it being only our second warning. So GG. Obviously that penalty was removed because it was completely stupid. But yeah, that's lost us a huge amount of time, that mistake there. We were quite lucky not to bin it in the wall because our car was completely out of control. But as you can see, as a result of that mistake, Hybrid has jumped us, so that's just fantastic. And at this point I'm starting to wonder, is Sam trying the nose stop? Because I know Sam is Mr. Tyre Conservation, and I suspected that maybe he might try the nose stop at this point, especially as he hadn't pitted by now, as we take a quick look at the Hybrid inside, but nothing doing there. Obviously the no stop is possible because the pit lane time is so long that unless you puncture your tyres, I think you will actually gain time from the no stop. But we shall see if Sam is able to pull that off, or if he's just going for a shorter stint at the end to allow him to push more. But as you can see, Hybrid still sitting in front of us at the moment. We need to try and get past him to minimise the time lost by our mistake, because if Sam does choose to pit, I suspect he will come out in front of us as we go through Cops there, taking that quite quickly as we now look on the back of Hybrid. Once again, no chances through Maggots and Beckett's, I don't think, unless he makes a mistake. He's run quite wide there. He's pretty much done what I did, except he's managed to control it. I don't know if he's running traction control, but I also did that earlier in the race, if you remember, and I saved it. I don't think he's running traction control by the way his car is reacting on the exit of corners, so Hybrid, if you are watching this, please tell me if you are running traction control. I don't think you are, but you may well be. I'm not the best judge of that. But as we had a look up the inside of Stowe there, he's been scared a bit wide, and we're still running side by side, but he's run off track, and that will have lost him some momentum there as you lose grip on the Astro turf and stuff. So we managed to get that move done as we sort of scared him wide on the entrance to Stowe, and we're up into 6th place again. But as you can see in the pit lane is CK the Flying Scot as we set our personal best there, because he actually managed to get a drive through because he was like 1 mile an hour over the speed limit or something. So if we hadn't spun on that 14 at Beckett's, I reckon we would have been ahead of him, because as you can see, he's really not that far ahead there. So that mistake from us might have seriously cost us 5th position or 4th position if we managed to get past Sam before the end of the race. But as you can see, skipping to the end of lap 24, literally nothing happened. I started closing on CK, but then as the tyre wear kicked in, he started to get away because he had less tyre wear than me. But Sam was trying the no-stop, and as you can see, we have now caught up to him here on the penultimate lap of the race. I think Jeff told me that he had a penalty, so I don't actually need to get past him because my penalty will obviously be removed. But maybe if CK makes a mistake, we can put some pressure on him, because as you can see, he is the next car. But look how much more traction we have than Sam, as we're going to fly up the inside once again already. And as you can see, he's slowing down a lot, so he has now got a puncture. So that no-stop for Sam has not worked, and he is going to be finishing right at the back in this race. But now, as you can see, the final lap of the race, we couldn't catch CK, he's right there in front, but he does have a penalty, so that means we will go in front of him in the race results due to our penalty being removed. So coming around the final corner now, HCR Cupid has won the race, and what? We've got a 10-second penalty for that? well, I can tell you that that 10-second penalty was removed and we were promoted up to 4th place. As you can see, HCR Cupid took a dominant win by almost 50 seconds ahead of Casey Legend, with Gaston Zinker taking a solid 3rd place. Myself in 4th after my penalty was removed, with CK in 5th, Hamilton Fan in 6th, Hickey, who was a reserve for this week, in 7th, and Sam finishing in 8th after his puncture. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next week for what is the Hungarian Grand Prix, Magyar Nagy Dij, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.